America. Boys to Books has received national endorsements from the U.S. Congress, National Black Law Student Association, and Black Male Engagement Initiative. While working alongside former Congressman Hanson Clark, Dr. Connor's efforts assisted in developing a resolution in the United States Congress to express the blustering literacy amongst African Americans and Hispanic males in his urgent national priority. The Boys to Book program has been endorsed by the United States Congress, and Dr. Connor's development of the HRES 721 resolution was the impetus. I'm sorry. Say that for me, Dr. Connor.
That's right.
Impetus for President Barack Obama, My Brother's Keeper initiative. Dr. Connor has you know what? Let me tell you something. This bio is so phenomenal that I need to take an English class. He has prestigious honors for his community activism and unique leadership abilities, such as the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award, the Black Male Engagement Leadership Award, the Spirit of Detroit Award, and named one of the top 100 leaders who's who in Black Detroit. Dr. Connor has been featured via ABC News, BET, CBS, Fox News, NBC, PBS, and TCT. He's also been on the Steve Harvey Show, which I saw that episode, by the way, the Tom Joyner Show, the Word Network, USA Today, and many other media outlets. Dr. Connor is a contributor writer for the Michigan Chronicle and is featured in the acclaimed BET documentary, It Takes a Village to Raise Detroit. Dr. Connor speaks extensively on the subjects of education, leadership, overcoming obstacles, and maximizing your purpose. And an international speaker, much of his work extends throughout Jamaica and South Africa. Dr. Connor empowers people at churches, conferences, community centers, and colleges by inspiring and motivating others to become the odds. I want to introduce to some and present to others the phenomenal, incomparable Dr. Eddie Connor.
Wow. Glad to be here. On the Ron Todd Show, man.
Wait a minute. We got Mr. Engineer with these cameras. He couldn't even play the claps. I'm like, wait a minute. I did that big intro. You know,
we're gonna clap. We're gonna clap for you for getting through it, guys. We're gonna clap for you. I'm glad to be joined with my sister from another mister, my brother from another mother, my namesake.
Yes, sir.
We share the same name. Great preacher, great pastor, great individual in the community. Brother Pastor Eddie Sane. So I'm glad to be here with all of you all today, and of course talking to the worldwide core radio, doing it big, man.
Listen,
so congrats to what you're doing.
Listen, man, you have really done some amazing things, and it's so interesting because we were just talking during the break. I got a chance to interview you. It had to be about 5 or 6 years ago, on a different network, and man, you were really doing some awesome things there. But I tell you what, God has truly blessed you since, and you've been able to walk into some amazing doors. And you know, I want you to start because I read your bio. So for those who may not be as familiar, you're a household name at this point, though, Dr. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. You know, anytime when we start to turn on the television and see your face on the Steve Harvey Show and on Fox 2 and things like that, you're a household name around here. So God has been good to you. But now I want to go back here because something that's so powerful and I always like for you to talk about is how you are a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
Stage 4. Tell us about it.
Stage 4. You know, it was a real perplexing place in my life. At the age of 15, faced really my greatest hurdle and circumstance. And, you know, they say in America, every second, 2 to 3 people are diagnosed with cancer. 1 in every 1,000 teenagers diagnosed. And to be experiencing chest pains, a sophomore in high school, playing basketball, running cross country, getting ready to play varsity. Was having these chest pains. You know how we are, brothers. You know how we are when we experiencing tough times and hurt and pain. We don't really express it. We just keep it all in.
Right.
We taught not to cry. Is how we've been socialized, so to speak. And the pain was just exacerbated. It was just getting real bad. And I'm over at my friend's house. We watched the Rose Bowl game. Make a long story short, I don't have any L's. I don't have no license. Neither does he. And his mother has to take me to the hospital. They do a CT scan of the chest. They do an X-ray, and they see, hey, you know what? There's a blockage going on in his body. We need to investigate it. They cut me open. Wow. And they see my cells are growing so fast they could see them growing with the naked eye. Around my trachea, esophagus, around my heart, around my voice box, the place I'm speaking to you out of right now. The enemy always wants to shut your mouth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know, I remember like they say in church, you know, when I can't say anything, I just lift up my hands.
Come
Father,
on.
I stretch my hands to thee.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I had to do. I had to stretch myself. I had to stretch my faith. And the doctor comes in the room. He says, we have a diagnosis for you. And I was at a previous hospital before they took me to this particular one in Beaumont. And I thought it was a punctured lung is what they told me. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking to myself as I'm at Beaumont, the doctor says, I'm thinking he's going to say a punctured lung or bad cold, something of that nature. He says, you have NHL. And I'm right then and there, I said, I done hit the lottery.
Right.
NHL, I'm getting ready to be the youngest owner of a National Hockey League. And I don't even like the sport.
Right.
You know, only thing black in hockey is the puck. And it's always
Come on
in
now.
there. But anyway, the doctor says, no, you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, my first language is Ebonics. I'm still trying to learn English. What in the world do you mean? Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, what is that? He tells me it's not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, stage 4 cancer. To be young black male, stage 4 cancer. You can't get cancer till you're 50, 60, 70, 80 years of age. 15? Why me, why now? Doesn't even give me opportunity to even ask the question of why me, why now. He says, don't ask why. For the next 18 months, close to 2 years, went through chemo and radiation. It's either generally one or the other, but the cancer was so aggressive. Chemo and radiation is what they had to give me.
Wow. At age 15?
At the age of 15.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm out of school my sophomore year, and you talk about a lot of dark days of depression, dismay, discombobulation. My own biological father never visited me one day in the hospital.
Wow.
Some things you never get over, you just have to manage. A lot of people who were in church who I thought were going to pray for me were literally praying on you.
Yeah.
People will sit on the sidelines waiting for your demise. But I'm a living witness. Psalm 118:17 says, I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord.
Lord Jesus.
And so to overcome and to have a praying mama who said, you got to take the pity party hat off.
Right.
Yeah. Dr.
Yes.
Janice Connor, shout out to my mother. She says, you got to go to the scripture. You got to understand that the first 3 letters in cancer is can. You can't overcome, you can't survive. Everybody gets knocked down, but a knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down.
Yes, sir.
Muhammad Ali said the canvas is no place for a champion.
That's right.
You got to get back up again.
Yes,
and so
sir.
I'm a living witness that you can not just only survive, but thrive and overcome the odds. And that's my testimony. That's my story. Your test is a testimony. Your misery is ministry. Your mess is a message. Your stumbling block is a stepping stone. And God used your setback as a setup for your greatest comeback.
Yes, sir.
Now, did you know, you got over that hurdle in high school, and then you were going to college and things like that. Now, did you know that you were going to become this author and this motivational speaker? What was your mindset like during that time as you were transitioning into adulthood after having such a challenging teenage years?
Yeah, great question. I never wanted to be a writer at all. All I wanted to do was play basketball. I thought I was Michael Jordan's son growing up.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a writer, and I was actually 23 years old, sitting in my dorm room. My mother says, you need to write your story. Literally, all I had is $1 and a dream. Literally $1. And so I'm a broke college student writing my story, and I said, you know what? I don't want to be a writer at all. I hated how my own old teachers would try to constrict me and limit my creativity when I was writing. I don't want nothing to do with it. So she says, write your story. She literally had to twist my arm. I said, I'm going to just write this for you. Every day about to be Mama's Day. This is the only book I'm ever going to write. This is for you. And I wrote it, and I really began to heal. Writing became therapeutic for me. I had some bitterness towards my father, had bitterness towards people who left me in my situation, left me for dead, literally, and never helped me. And I began to discover my gifts, and really God began to give me revelation in my situation.
Wow.
And I'm 5 books later, we at number 6, and so it's the greatest blessing comes from doing what you don't feel like doing.
That's right.
And sometimes life pushes you and forces you to dig deep and discover something that you didn't even necessarily know was there, but you just had to unearth it. Somebody says the tragedy in life is to be gifted but never open the package.
Lord Jesus.
And that's what we have to do. Open it.
Oh, yeah.
Bless somebody with it.
That's powerful.
Man, I was reading your story, and you have a tremendous testimony. You have a tremendous story to tell. I just believe that there's somebody who's where you were. They're may not deal with the exact same stuff, but they're in a similar situation. What was it that continued to give you that strength to push through, even when it seemed like everything was stacked against you? Everything should have been telling you to give up, but yet still, you still pushed. What was it that gave you that boost you needed?
Yeah, really powerful question. I believe it comes from the whole aspect of what people didn't think I would ever overcome. I've always been the underdog all my life. People never really thought much of me or thought I could do much. And it really came from the whole aspect of defying the haters, defying the critics and the naysayers, and really asking myself, do I want to live? Do I want to fight through it? And it came to the place to where really God had to reveal himself to me in a different way. You can only rely on your mama's faith so long going to church until you have a personal experience and relationship with God on your own. And to have to realize that, to say, you know what, I'm in this fight. The only person who can overcome this is, yes, God, yes, my mama, but they're helping me to do it. But I got to fight for myself. Nobody's going to win the battle for you. The battle is in the mind. And when you transform your mind, you'll transform your world. You transform your situation. And sometimes you got to go to the edge of your mind to change your mind. And sometimes you have to be in the situation, the critical aspect of that, to where all you have is God. And when all you have is him, that's enough. And so believing that I could overcome, and I had to find that faith on the inside of me to say, you know what, in spite of what it looks like on the outside, I got the strength and the faith and the perseverance on the inside to move forward.
Dr. Connor, how you know? I'm Jackie.
Yeah. Jackie of all trades.
Hey.
I can't wait to hear about My Brother's Keeper, but you mentioned you have 5 other books. What are the other books that you've written?
Yeah, my first book was Purposefully Prepared to Persevere. That's a little tongue twister, but that's the first book I ever wrote about my ordeal with cancer. The second one is Collections of Reflection. That's a 40 poems, 3-volume set of poetry. Third one is Econ the Icon, from pop culture to President Barack Obama, analyzing where we are in America, and even the whole aspect of black man in a White House doesn't necessarily negate the whole aspect of an illusion of inclusion. The fourth one is Heal Your Heart. No, the fourth one is Unwrap the Gift in You. And that comes from the whole aspect of Paul says, to stir up the gift. Proverbs says your gift to make room for you and bring you before great men. But Pablo Picasso says the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give your gift away. Everybody is a red box and a gold bowl. Your gift to the world, but you got to open the package. And then the fifth one is Heal Your Heart. That's a book specifically I wrote to the ladies. Strong enough for a man, but it's made for a woman. So that's really a book about really healing yourself, making yourself a magnet for the right one, and really understanding that relationships are like boarding an airplane. Too much baggage is going to cost you. So you got to love yourself. You got to know your worth. You got to heal. And if you don't deal with it, you can't heal from it. And when you become a magnet for the right one, you'll stop attracting the wrong ones. Yeah.
Wow.
Heal your heart.
Powerful.
Get it in your hand.
Heart.
Yeah.
Jack, she liked that one. Look at
Right. I got something in there called, I got a poem in there called Queen. And I define queen as quintessentially unique, empowering everyone naturally. So that's what women are. Women are nurturers. And I believe we have to uphold our queens, and queens speak into the life of kings.
Absolutely.
You know, to tell them and really empower them to move to the next level in life.
Well, man, you have a new book called My Brother's Keeper, and I want to talk about that book right after this break. He has a brand new book called My Brother's Keeper. Tell us about that book.
Yeah, MBK, I'm really excited about My Brother's Keeper and just the unveiling of it. And, of course, appreciate you all featuring on the show. Really, it comes from the whole aspect to repair, restore, and reconcile ourselves to each other, our families, and our communities. It's built upon the notion of what Frederick Douglass said. He says, if we build strong children, we won't have to repair broken adults. I like to remix it and say, if we build strong boys, we won't have to repair broken men. Malcolm X said, nobody can give you anything. Nobody can give you freedom, justice, or equality. If you're a man, take it. Dr. King takes it to another level. And he said, either we're going to live together as brothers or perish together as fools.
Wow.
And so the power of My Brother's Keeper, of course, is scriptural based. And you think about it, there's two questions that are in Genesis that really set the foundation for the human condition.
Oh, yeah.
And that is when God says to Adam, where are you?
Yeah.
And it's not just in proximity to location, it's in proximity to relationship. And then it's followed up with Cain and Abel episode as Cain slays his brother Abel. And now we don't see God asking man a question. Now we see man asking God a question. And that is really a rhetorical question. Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, sir.
And it's a question that we continue to ask, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Cairo, whether it's Detroit, whether it's Flint, from the school system to the water system, of what's going on right now. And it's one that we have to ask ourselves the question, really reply, yes, emphatically, I am. And I got to do something. It ain't just about me, my Benz and my friends, my money and my honey. It's about me helping out the least of these, the left out, the overlooked, the underserved, the underrepresented. Pastor, you already know, Matthew 25, alive has to come alive more than ever before.
Come on.
Jump off the pages and put in action.
That's right. That's right. So I'm telling you, if you're listening now, you got to get this book. The revolution will not just be televised, it'll be digitized. Go to the website, eddieconnor.com, EDDIECONNOR.com. It's available at all retailers, especially online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Of course, you order from our website, you'll get a signed, sealed, delivered copy to you.
Hey. Now,
I want mine autographed.
I know that's right. Tell us, who should read this book?
Yeah, you know what? I wrote this book in mind for our boys and our men, but also our sisters who love them. And I've been dealing and really working the school system for some years now, but also mentoring with our young brothers in the community from ages 5 to 18, and even helping out our brothers beyond that. And just looking at the plight of where our black men are, to where it's been socially engineered. When you look at racism, white supremacy, and the condition that has really caused illiteracy as well as incarceration. They say that in the city of Detroit, 60% of the residents are functionally illiterate. And you think about the prison system. Prisons are built based on 2nd and 3rd grade reading scores, housing black and brown brothers across this nation. 1.8 million black Hispanic brothers are incarcerated. And really, that's even more than those who were enslaved. You think about 2016 versus 1716. And so it's a real serious epidemic, and we have to share our own story. I think we have to have a frank discussion to begin to share our own story in the black community. Black men are not predators or pariahs. We're providers and protectors. Black men are not thugs. We're scholars. Black men are not stereotypes. We're prototypes. Black men are not liabilities. We are assets to our communities and our universities. And when we begin to have a positive reflection of ourselves, not operate out of self-hate, but out of self-love. Black lives won't just matter when it's a white officer killing a black boy as red blood sheds in the street, but black lives will begin to matter to black people. And we don't say, all right, it's all right for you to kill us because we do ourselves. No, but we got love that we shed abroad, and we stand firm, united, because you already know a house divided against itself cannot stand. So you got to get this book. It's empowering, it's impactful. It doesn't just talk about the problems, but it gives substantive solutions and strategies.
Tell them again where they can get the book at.
Go to the website, eddieconnor.com, EDDIECONNOR.com. I'm from the east side, Warren and Connor, but that's the ER. I'm OR.
Yes, sir. And tell if they need to contact you, they want to book you for an engagement or something like that. How do they contact you?
I'd love to come to your church, your workshop, your school, your university, wherever the case may be. Hit my assistant up at the number 313-469-1947. You can email info@eddieconnor.com. Again, 313-469-1947. I'd love to come and share a word in due season, just empower our people to move to the next level. We all we got.
Oh yeah.
And that can't stop.
You were saying in your book, My Brother's Keeper, that a lot of things that we read or that we hear about, they always deal with the problem.
Yeah.
but in your book you deal with the solution. And what do you think, or what do you believe is one of the reasons why it's hard for us as brothers, as men, to come together to lift each other up?
Great question. Great question. A lot of times, as you talk about, we operate off of a deficit-based, idealist mindset towards especially our black brothers. One thing is that I had to change my jargon in my conversation to use asset-based language and not just save our brothers, but build them.
Yeah.
A lot of them already have what it takes. They just need that extra push.
Oh, yeah.
One other thing is that why we haven't really come together in a powerful way. Really, it seems like 68, we all went to sleep after Dr. King was assassinated.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of times we're operating out of competition versus collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can do more together when we come together. You know, it's really like a concept. You know, on Facebook, they poke you.
Oh, God.
They want to get your attention.
Don't be poking me.
No,
No,
please.
no more.
No
No more.
posts.
No more.
I really hope the people ain't on MySpace. You know, then you might need to get out of this place.
Right.
But oftentimes we operate like Facebook. We poking at the situation. We poking at violence. We poking at crime. And really, Dr. King says poverty is the bride of crime. Wherever you see poverty, crime is very closely located.
Yeah.
You take off the mask and you see that incarceration. You see socially engineered communities. You see blight. You see dilapidation. That's really the aspect of what it is that we are facing. But oftentimes we're poking at the issues of what's going on in our communities. We can only do so much separately. But when we come together and take those fingers and become like a fist,
Come on now.
that's when we can begin to knock out what's going on. We can be like the Joe Louis.